Hello, everyone. Welcome to Scroll Talk, the podcast about the Elder Scrolls Online. Guys, my name is Noble, and I am joined here with my co-host, Good Stash. Stash, how you doing, buddy? Doing all right. A little tired this week. I don't know why. It's only Monday. But I'm a little tired. But we do have some stuff to talk about, as we do every single week. Guys, before we jump into everything ESO related, I just want to take this time to, thank the people that have listened so far. We are at 28 total listeners, which normally, like to look at stats, like I was checking Spotify and our podcast host platform, and it gives us like the amount of total followers versus like the amount of total listens, and we're at, I believe, 28 followers to I think 25 total listens, so that's good. Like that's as close as like 1-to-1 as like I could hope for a pretty small show. So thank you guys for coming out, listening. People that who've also shared it. Mel on Twitter, thank you for letting people know. But we appreciate everything that you guys have done so far, as far as all the feedback and stuff. Keep it coming at our Twitter handle at TalkScroll. But anyway, enough of that. We've got some news because the Mid-Year Mayhem event ended a couple weeks ago, and we are already moving into another event, which is Summerset's Bounty. So I will let Stash spearhead this because I haven't done this. I have not done this event before. I don't think it's new, right?
No, it's been around, I think, ever since Summerset came out. So I think that was about a year and a half ago, almost 2 years maybe. But it happens every year since that came out. And actually, I think it may actually happen a couple times a year. Honestly, if I remember correctly, it may happen once in the summer and then once in the winter months, maybe. Just like the Mid-Year Mayhem. I think they kind of do a good job of recycling these events, especially ones where, they give you a chance to earn double rewards and, just have fun in one specific area or one specific DLC or one specific content type, if you will.
Yeah.
And allow players to just go nuts doing that for a couple weeks.
Which I like because I was listening to Tales of Tamriel a week ago. I was just catching up on some episodes. Have some exciting news about that later. But I believe it was Arcaneer, the host, was talking about the new variation of the Indrik mount, which looks really cool to me. Since I haven't been around this event ever. I guess there was a different variation of it prior, and I think every event there's just another adaptation of the same mount, which I get for some people might be like, oh well, I'm getting the same mount, just like different color or whatnot, but that is pretty huge. Okay, I wouldn't say huge, just maybe a little bit hyperbolic, but like with repeat events that you get during each year from other MMOs, like there aren't that many that introduce new event-related rewards. So the first thing that comes to mind, because I'm going to continue to mention it because it's the only thing I have for reference, the Gree event in Star Wars: The Old Republic. Like there has not been a new reward for that event in years, but the event keeps happening every single year. So the fact that, yes, it's probably a variation of the same mount that a lot of players have, except for like myself, who's, this is my first time, I can see how maybe that might be a little bit like disappointing, but I mean, it's cool that at least they're changing it up for an event. One thing that I like about this event is you're going to basically be getting, I believe it is double resources from the nodes just in Summerset, since it is a Summerset event. And if any of you have the your own little mat farming route in Summerset, well, it's gonna be even better for you now because that's my personal spot where I like to go farm alchemy mats is in Summerset. So to be getting double, it's gonna be sick. I'm excited for that.
Yeah, and the other cool thing that I forgot to mention was also the Cloud Rest Trial weekly quest. You'll be able to do that every day. So the normal reward you get is called a coffer that you get for completing the trial. And at the, I think it gives, what is it? It gives you a ring with one of the trial-specific traits that you can only get from trials, so that you can go research that trait. And then they give you a chance at getting the specific motif that comes out of that trial, as well as some other goodies. And I think another either armor or weapon piece as well has a chance to drop. So
Nice. I
yeah,
have yet to do
very
a
cool.
trial. I know I won't be able to this weekend just because of real life stuff, but I need to do a trial. I just have no idea where to start with that.
Oh man, it's really simple. For anyone that wants to get into trials, the first place you would start is Craglorn. If you go into that zone, I mean, you'll just see in zone chat is where they normally post looking for groups for the trials, and you can just hop in one, and most people are pretty friendly. They'll guide you through it if you've never been. But I highly suggest starting with the three specific to Craglorn. So that would be Hellrust Citadel, Etherean Archive, or Sanctum Ophidia.
Okay. I will definitely be getting on that at some point. But so this event essentially runs from, I believe, the July 23rd until Tuesday, August 4th. So start at 10 a.m. Eastern time, and then they end at 10 a.m. Eastern time. That's what, a 2-week event? Yeah, around 2 weeks.
Yep. That's 2 weeks.
Yeah. So hopefully, with all of my work schedules and all that fun stuff, I'll be able to actually do a lot of, participate heavily in the event. Because, as I said last episode, I didn't get a chance to do a lot of the Mid-Year Mayhem. But this looks pretty cool. And also, I've been talking about it a lot on Twitter and any kind of stream, how much I love Summerset. So I'm actually really happy that there's like a Summerset themed event. But I think that is essentially like a lot of the news that we got over the week. There was a live stream on Facebook, I believe, but there's a couple other things like Summerset, the DLC pack, is on sale. Crown Store 50% off throughout the event, I should say. So it's not there yet. But to get it 50% off, that's like, what do the DLCs run? I think it's like, what, 2,100 crowns normally? Or like 18 something? So
Summerset was one of the expansions, so I believe it normally ran for about
30, okay.
$30 somewhere around there, but or the equivalent in crowns, I think that would be closer to like 4,000.
Okay.
Yeah, but with 50% off, it should make it pretty affordable. And if you already have the ESO Plus membership, you'll gain automatic access to the zone during the event. So you don't even actually have to buy it per se. You can just go there, check it out, test it out if you don't want to just buy into it just yet, and try it at your own pace before you buy it.
Yeah. So, guys, if you haven't, definitely try it. I'm trying to like slow down all of my crazy enthusiasm to be like, yes, buy, but definitely take your time, see if it's something you want. Personally, this new variation of the Indrik mount, the green, I really like it because my theme for my warden is green, so it would be really cool to have a green Indrik. Because they're also, it's funny, don't they attack you in Summerset if you get near them? Like, they're basically just enemies that you can kill.
They're pretty. I think they're actually like in the lore. They're sentient beings that the elves converse with and stuff like that. But yeah, because one of them is actually a boss fight as well. In the it's the werewolf. What is that dungeon? I can't even think of it off the top of my head.
Gotcha. But speaking of werewolves, we were talking about this before the show. For the
Yes.
the Stonethorn DLC in is it the Garden Dungeon?
I believe it is. That's right. It is the Stone Garden.
Yeah.
So, and it'll be on the final boss. The previous second to last boss will drop 2 potions, and or however many people are in your group. You can solo this dungeon, is what they're saying, or at least this part. And once you pick them up, you'll get. I think there's 2 different ones for each player. So you'll have a berserker and then the behemoth. So you'll get 2 different transformation. Both of them kind of look similar. So you'll just turn into a giant werewolf. But they have different, like, I guess you could say the berserker has different morphs, as I understand, and then the behemoth will have its own skill line. So it won't have anything to do with the other werewolf skill line, and it'll only be available in this dungeon during the last boss. So you get to play around with it in kind of a controlled setting, but it is pretty cool.
I got to, well, not that I got to. It's available for everyone to look at. Hack the Minotaur put out a video on it, and I was like, oh, that's actually ridiculous. I was watching it without sound for some reason. I forget, I was doing something, but in my head, I was like, that would be so insane in PvP. And like I said, we were talking about it for the show, and Sasha was like, oh, wow, wouldn't this be sick in PvP? No. I can't deal with werewolves right now in Battlegrounds. Like, I don't know how to kill them. I know you can, like, stun them, and they're pretty vulnerable that way. But when everyone's trying to kill a werewolf and, you know, not coordinating their stuns, like, it's over. At least for me. It's probably because I'm bad, but still.
You need a lot of poison. Definitely bring some poison.
I have a lot of issues with those. But no, that's cool. Like, having a dungeon-specific take on a werewolf is nice. I don't think maybe for the sake of content, maybe I'll try the werewolf, just like the regular for like the class kind of thing. But I am definitely going to be trying the werewolf behemoth in the Stone Garden. I think I said it first episode of the show how much I really enjoyed the PvE in this game, and I'm still sticking to that. I don't find myself getting bored with it in other MMOs that I've played. I could not stomach it whatsoever, but this has been a really pleasant experience because I feel like the PvE matters in this game a little bit more, not just like end rewards, but in terms of like just, I don't know, game knowledge and things. So I've learned a lot about the game just by doing dungeons, whether it be story or just how the game works. I know it's a key part of any, you know, MMO game, but this specifically, I have had a pretty good time in.
Yeah, it's actually really cool that you said that. Sorry to interrupt, but
you're good.
It is really cool that dungeons and PvE in general has that effect on the game. It's there's, you know, very specific sets you can only get by running PvE that will help you with PvP or late game PvE content. There's also certain materials you can only find in dungeons and trials, like the specific trait materials you need will only be found there. So it gives you a really good reason to go and try it out at least and do it and be good at it.
Yeah. No, for sure. I definitely am thinking about either using a Warden or a Templar to heal like hard mode trials or something. That's really what I want to get into in the next couple weeks when I figure out exactly what I want to do with characters. But that's for later on in the show. But if there is nothing else with the PTS, I mean, short of, we talked about this a little bit last episode, but I'll go over it again. The character pathing, from what I've seen of it, from people's reaction and opinions on it, whether it be on Twitch or in other podcasts, like, they are super excited because like we said before, it makes your house come to life essentially. So I'm looking forward to that. One thing we did forget to mention earlier, we were talking about things in the Crown Store. There's a player appreciation bundle that is currently out. As of you guys listening to this on a Tuesday, you'll have 9 more days to go get it. It gives you pet. I believe it gives you Moloch Ball's mace. Correct?
That's correct.
Okay. And
And then it
then
also gives you 3 outfit change tokens, which is very nice.
probably one of the biggest things in that entire bundle because, as you said earlier, it's going to save you a ton of gold when you're changing your outfits. What would have been great is if they would have given us an outfit like token slot, another slot. I would have been amazing. But I have yet to buy a second slot for any of my characters. So pick that up, guys, if you have not done so. Get a little some player appreciation. That's always something nice for the community to have. So I've got all that stuff there. But not. I don't want to say it's like been a relatively quiet week, but like normally, I wouldn't say normally. I guess the last couple weeks there's just been a big dump of news. And I guess this is the first time we're like experiencing like, okay, we got a couple extra things. We got the Summerset event announcement and the dates, what's going on there, and that stuff is all, super cool. But mostly, like, it's been a relatively, quiet week. I think we can pretty much segue into what we have been really doing in ESO. Stash, if you want to go, I'll let you take it from here.
I haven't been up to much. The one thing that I have been doing after the PvP event is trying to, like we talked about last week, was working on my my Templar and my Nightblade. And part of that has been trying to get the gear pieces that I will need. And one of those is the mythic item, the Tonal Arc of Constancy. The Torque of Tonal Constance. So, and that has been a grind. I'm not gonna lie. Not just because I guess I'm lucky because I did the antiquity farming beforehand for the Dwarven Mount, the Ebon Dwarven Mount, and that got me all the way to level 7 in scrying. So I could already go and find these, but see, I made the mistake of thinking I needed to be level 10 to actually acquire the mythic item.
Oof.
So I haven't really been pushing it that often. And then my friend whispered me one day, and he's like, "Hey, you can actually go find these yellow pieces for the mythic items like at level 7." I was like, "You got to be kidding me! I could have been doing this whole time." So I immediately started going out and trying to get these 5 pieces together, and so far I've got 4 of the 5 I need. So
Nice. Yeah, I know you were trying to get that done before we started the show. But hey, you got 4 or 5 what? And essentially what? One day? You get 3 pieces today?
yeah. It actually I got all 4 today.
Damn,
I only
dude.
learned about this over the weekend, and I haven't got a chance to really sit down and go after them. So, because I've been trying to, catch up on the latest news and, check out what my Templar needs. But once I learned of this, I had to go immediately and start farming again.
Well, hey, I mean, I need to really get into the whole scrying bit and the antiquities. I haven't touched it, which honestly, like, I don't think it's that big of a deal because I am still discovering the game 3 months later, and I'm pretty sure the antiquities came out a month after I started playing, and I was nowhere near ready to even start doing that. But with how much time you've put into it and the things you can get from it, I think I definitely am going to do it sooner rather than later if I can just decide what I want to play from day to day. But no, that's cool. That's cool. Lucky, like you said, though, to get 4 pieces in one day. Oof.
Yeah, I was extremely lucky, especially considering that most of them come from like the world bosses. So, really a lot of the times you don't get them on the first kill, if you will. Yeah, it'll take you 3 or 4 times, and some of the respawn times on these world bosses is 5 to 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So sometimes you'll just be sitting there waiting for this boss to respawn, and it can be pretty mind-numbing. I am not going to lie. But I think once you do get that piece and you're on to the next one, and then you finally get that last piece, it's going to be so sweet because some of these items are actually really, really good. And I'm definitely looking forward to trying them out in PvP.
Now I actually want to start doing this. But I have already a tall order that I am trying to, complete currently, which, I guess I'll start talking about what I've been doing this last week in
Yeah,
ESO.
tell us.
Played a lot more than I did the week prior, just with work stuff, but I have been leveling my Templar as well. I think I have her at 36 or 37. I had a buddy of mine run me through Skyreach a couple times to do stuff, and I've been, just casually questing on that. I don't understand why anyone else, like, why other classes in the game exist when you have Templar for PvP. Like, I know they can be, like, countered, but, like, Aurora Javelin, just, like, just throwing things at people and knocking them down. It's been literally such a joy. But I still get just as angry when, like, it's used against me, and I'm like, this class should not be in the game. Anyway, I've been, like I said, leveling that. I have been working really hard to get all of, like, the base crafting skills to level 50. I only have clothing at 50. I am pretty much past 45 in everything else except for enchanting and alchemy and provisioning, which should not surprise anyone because those three take the longest. I'm pretty sure on my warden I have 30, I think I'm like 32 in alchemy, but I really want to start getting things to craft, like cool motifs that I can craft. Stuff for furniture too, because I said this last week on the show, like I really wanted to get into player housing, and crafting is going to help a lot with that, especially with some of the things even coming to the Summerset event. There are going to be things in there that are coming back that you can buy to then craft. So I'm glad that I'm making this more of a priority right now, as that event literally is 2 days from now. So I'm excited, for all those things to drop and for me to learn there. I'm still trying to figure out what the main class is for me, which I'm pretty sure I flip-flopped every single day, or at least every single week at least on this show, because first episode, Mag Warden. Still play my Mag Warden every day, but started playing Templar, which I like, but on principle, I don't think it can be my main. At least not for PvP. I feel like that would be doing everyone a disservice because it's so OP.
It's got to be the sorcerer. It's got to be.
Yeah, Sork was the first character to 50 that I had, and then I also played a sorcerer in Star Wars: The Republic, so that was like one of my favorite classes to play. So I naturally went there. And the only thing that I'm trying to figure out with that is the resto, like just the resto heals. Like I'm pretty sure you can do it like just fine. Like if you're in trials, there are plenty of Sork healers, and I know that you can spec in a certain way that some of the Daedric pets do a little bit of group healing as well. I have to actually really dive in, but it's probably gonna be the Sork because nostalgia, like it's real.
Yeah, so yeah, Sorks have a lot of utility in this game too. I mean, like you said, you can configure them to heal. You can configure them to tank, like with any class, really. But I think the Sork is in a really good spot right now as far as the game goes, especially in PvP, because, man, they just have so much utility. Like from their teleport to the whirlwind that they get, perma whirlwind, pretty much, as long as you can keep your resources up, and then that allows them to run around just as quickly as other classes. I mean, it's I love Sorks, and I hate playing against them.
That's like it's like one of the only classes you actually have a difficult time against, right, in PvP? Because you can pretty much roll other ones.
Yeah, that and Nightblades, those are the bane of my existence for sure. That Magnum Shot. You hate Aurora Javelin from Templars, I hate Magnum Shot from Nightblades.
I was literally looking at actually the Nightblade earlier today, and I was like, this seems like one of those really annoying classes. Maybe as annoying as the Templar, but what is their one ability? Sneak attack or surprise attack? It's their spammable. That annoys the crap out of me.
Yeah, and it also inflicts major fracture on you too, so that decreases your physical resistance. I mean, it's a really great move for
Really
sure.
great move, but so crazy. I think we only have one guy in our group, in our like friend group who mains Nightblade. That's Kakarot, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So I thought. So yeah, me still trying to figure out what the heck I'm gonna do class wise, because I was talking to Sash yesterday or the day before, and I was like, am I actually missing out by not focusing on a class? And like his answer was like, not necessarily, because unless you're that one person, right, who only will play one character. First of all, if you are that person, how do you do it? Because I would get bored. I would have to have some kind of variety, because my interest in the game just goes beyond one character. So I definitely have to play more. But even so, like, why? Why would you do that to yourself when there's so many other things, to play? So, but at the same time, right? Like, I want to do trials, like I want to do some end game stuff, but it's kind of hard to do end game stuff when you're not properly prepared to do it, because I'm like, oh, I'm gonna make a Templar now, or I'm gonna work on my Dragon Egg. Literally in stream today, I was showing people the character customizations and stashed him in the chat, and he's like, are you making another tune? I'm like, no, I'm not. I did make a new tune earlier this morning, but it was just another warden that's a different race, so I'm not gonna touch it. I just wanted the name. But yeah, that's what I've been doing. Pretty much noob stuff.
Same thing you've been doing for the past month.
Literally the same thing I've been doing for the past month. Absolutely nothing. But trying to figure out what exactly I'm going to be doing in the future, which
I was gonna say, and like I said, like I told you earlier, this you're discovering the true tradition of Elder Scrolls games, which is make a bunch of different characters.
Yep. Make a
Once you get
bunch.
tired of playing with one, you make another one.
Yep.
So
But that's enough necessarily about me. That's what I've been doing. Nothing super, fantastic. I'm not getting mythic items all day. I'm just like, ooh, this class has shiny things. I'm gonna do that. But anyway, moving on. That segues us perfectly into just like, what's been going on ESO community wise, and not a bunch. I just wanted to highlight a couple things. One is Dottz Gaming. For those of you who live under a rock, Dottz Gaming does a lot of PvP stuff for ESO on YouTube. He does PvE stuff as well, but he's really good at doing these like long form guides on how to play certain, classes, and, deep dives into builds, PvP commentary, so on and so forth. In the last, I would say, few weeks, he has been working on a transition into not necessarily leaving ESO. He's just making it his secondary game, and he's moving over to WoW. And you might be thinking, oh, what does that have to do with ESO? Well, it has a lot to do with it, because Dottz Gaming is partially the reason why I decided to take like the permanent plunge into ESO. So I was like, okay, what are the content creators around ESO doing? Like, what's the atmosphere like? And I found Dottz, I found Hack, I found T the Khajiit, Shimmervids. There is some other streamers like Allcast, stuff like that. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna make the transition to ESO myself. And just as I'm moving in, he's exiting now. He's only exiting because he wants to start a new journey, but he's still going to be playing ESO casually, which is great. He's also been covering the game for a lot longer than I have. I only bring that up because it's such a crazy time for ESO content creators right now, especially like the smaller ones, because there are some bigger names, moving out of ESO, but there are also some people moving into it. Stash, you were saying Summit.
Oh, yes.
Summit was streaming.
Big news. Yeah. I mean, if you consider what's going on in the streaming world to be big news as far as gaming goes, which I think that's relative. Not everybody watches people play games, but a lot of you do, and those that do may already know, but Shroud and Summit, two huge streamers, have moved into ESO. And I know Shroud isn't streaming currently at the moment, but Summit has been playing this game, I think, for the past 2-3 weeks, pretty regularly. and they've been drawing huge numbers into the ESO on Twitch. So that's to me that's a big step for ESO. I mean, they're getting a lot of eyes on their game right now with some big PvP streamers. So I would think this would be a good time, and an opportunity for ZeniMax to really improve some of the stuff around PvP, specifically the battleground queues. I know that's
Yes.
like an
Oh
issue for a lot of
God.
people. Not getting instant queue pops even when there's a bunch of people queuing, not getting consistent groups with people that are, around your skill level. I think a new matchmaking system should definitely be looked at and fine tuned, because I think a lot of people want more out of PvP in this game, and I think it can offer that.
Oh no, for
Um,
sure.
yeah, and one thing I know a lot of people have been clamoring for, myself included, is for them to bring back group queuing into battlegrounds, um, and make it, if they need to, make it kind of its own separate um, queue away from solo queuers, if that makes sense. So that way you
Yeah.
don't get group steamrolling solo queuers. I don't know if that's possible, but I would certainly like to see something like that, or maybe an arena league or something like that.
That'd be fun.
Something more than they have now, which is pretty much just simple leaderboards that reset every week with what your medal count points are in the battlegrounds. So
Yeah, no, that's I think that's literally my only gripe currently with the game, or major gripe, because I'll get on and I'll be like, oh, I'll see if Stash wants to do some PvP. We can't really do PvP together unless we're doing Imp City or Cyrodiil, which, don't get me wrong, both of those can be fun, but sometimes you just want to hit up battlegrounds. You want to get your daily done. You want to play some Chaos Ball if you're me, or if you're Stash, play Crazy King or Deathmatch or something crazy like that. But now it's like, okay, I'm gonna go in and do some battlegrounds by myself, and in a game that's, an MMO, I kind of feel like it's a little. This might be a strong word, but it's a little ridiculous to not be able to queue as a group with your friends in PvP, and how that's essentially just been relegated to single queuing. Now I know there was issues, and they did that for a reason. They took it away, but I think that needs to return as soon as possible.
oh, I agree 100%. And it sucks that people that are coming into the game right now are missing out on that, because I've had it since launch. So, that's always something I grew accustomed to. And it was so fun queuing 3-team battlegrounds. That was such a new dynamic for me in PvP. It made me had to worry about so much more and think about so much more than if I was just playing against one other team, you
Yeah,
know? So that I agree 100%, they should bring that back ASAP.
yeah. I think was it, did Summit like kind of decide to go more towards PVE because he was getting stomped in PvP? Granted, like, if you're new to the game, no matter how good you are at a previous game, an MMO is way different than what he was doing before. Like, like when you're doing FPSs and stuff like that, Fortnite, whatever, those skills don't really translate to a game like this. But I think that with time it's gonna get better, not just for the people coming in who are playing, but the bigger streamers who are bringing in more eyes, which like you said, this would be a great time for ZeniMax to really capitalize on the eyes, because Summit is a huge creator. If Shroud starts streaming it, it'll be even bigger. Like, the numbers that I hope it pulls on Twitch are going to be great, moving forward. But going back to what I was saying about the ESO, content creator scene, like, this is a chance, like not just for, people like me who have only been playing ESO for a couple months, who are just diving into the creator space there. It's for anyone else who wants to do stuff too, because don't get me wrong, I love Dottz so much. I hit him up on Twitter today and I was like, hey man, I started following you when I started playing the game, and even though you're moving over to WoW, I'm still gonna, stay subscribed, still gonna watch the streams because, I like Dottz as a person. So he actually responded. He's like, thanks, I appreciate it. So, I wish him well in his endeavors in WoW. I do hope that every once in a while he really does put out some ESO stuff, but I don't think his full transition into WoW is happening until the next DLC comes out in, what is it, September, I guess? Pretty sure.
I believe it's November 1st.
Oh,
is
November
when
1st.
Shadowlands
Okay.
comes out for
them. Okay.
Yeah.
So until then, he's gonna still be doing ESO stuff. And then as soon as that drops, he'll be making that a secondary game. But enough about people leaving this amazing game. As we kind of segue into the end of the show-ish, I know it's a little bit of a shorter show, but there was a reason for that. We have a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes. I was talking to my fiance today, and I was like, babe, I think I overbooked us. And she's like, probably you did. So the next 3 episodes, we have 3 guests. We may take a break in between one of those episodes and maybe just do just us 2 normally, and then we'll just bring on another guest. But right now, the next 2 episodes, we have 2 guests. The next episode is going to be with Hack the Minotaur, a YouTuber who does ESO content. One of the well-polished content creators over on YouTube. I was super surprised that he got back to me, and I was like, hey, yeah, no, I'm definitely down to do a podcast with you guys because we're a small show, like I said, less than 30 people. And he was like, yeah, let's do it. So, like, not only is this going to be, like, really big for us, but we're going to get to really see different community members that aren't just, players. We've got some big names coming. So that's why it's kind of been like a chill all over the place show. Because
I'm super excited about it, I can tell you that much.
yeah.
I can't wait to pick his brain and, really... Because I've used a couple of his PvP builds, and I really didn't, make that connection with how many viewers he had. I don't really look at that stuff as much as I should. But when you said his name, I was like, oh, yeah, I think I use his... Dragon Knight build, actually.
Yeah.
On one of my stamina Dragon Knights. So I think it was one of the first builds I actually used when I was first playing my Dragon Knight. I was a stam build before I switched to bag, so I was like, heck yeah, let's talk to him, man. That sounds great. I can't wait to ask him some questions.
I texted Sash. I was like, oh my god, we got hack. Oh jeez. And then I decided to go on a Twitter email spree, right, to some other creators, and we have the week after that we've got one of the co-hosts of the Tales of Tamriel podcast. Her name is Hyper Pixie Games, so we'll actually have all that linked. But that's one of the biggest podcasts in ESO right now. So having a host from that show come over to talk to us is also great, because obviously we're going to talk about the game, but maybe get into a little bit of podcast jargon, because part of the reason we started the show is because we wanted to talk about ESO, and they do a good job of setting up a good format over there and making it engaging for people. They live stream their episodes. They do all of it live. I tuned in for their latest one, so it was fun to hang out and see everything done live. So that'll be the week after. So we're busy then. And then after that is T the Khajiit, another Twitch streamer. She's got about 15K followers over there. Does a couple of videos on YouTube. But anyway, that being said, guys, we have a full plate of stuff coming over the next month. And I told Sash before we started today, I was like, this is probably just going to be a chill whatever show, because we're going to be saving a lot of our crazy questions and discussion topics for our guests, because we really want to make the most of those opportunities, because whether or not you guys feel this way, or just anyone, whoever is in the gaming space or the gaming content space, it's a really big opportunity, not just for me, but for Stash as well, to have these bigger people on the show with us. And I want to just be clear, we're like, I didn't go out of my way to be like, oh, okay, we should get these people on the show for any kind of like particular, like, oh, they could get us more listeners, whatever. These are some really cool people who have done really great things for the ESO content creation community, just for the community as a whole. And I want to talk to them, and I know Stash wants to talk to them too. So it's a big deal in that sense. So we're excited to bring all that to you guys in the next few weeks.
Yeah, and if you guys also have any questions you'd like to field to these two individuals, just let us know, because I'm sure we can probably either work that into one of our questions that we have, because we're definitely going to do that.
Yeah.
But this will give a chance for you guys to give us some pointers on what you guys want to know from them, what you want to hear them say.
Yeah. No, that's exactly right. Like, put in your questions. You can add us at TalkScroll. You can put them in the comments of the YouTube version of the podcast. You can email us at scrolltalkpodcast@gmail.com if you want to put that stuff there. We'll be checking all of that over the next week as we get ready for these guests. But yeah, just be sure to hit us up if you have any questions, because we're already gonna have a bunch. Maybe we'll do a Q&A section. We don't know what we're gonna do yet. We'll figure it out as we go. That's what 3 weeks of this show has just been us figuring it out, as we go. But Stash, you have anything else before we let the viewers go today?
I think I'm all tuckered out, and I'm saving all the good stuff for these next 2 episodes. So right. I've got nothing, my brother.
All right, guys. Well, thank you guys for hanging out with us again for another episode of Scroll Talk. It has been so fun recording these episodes the last few weeks. Now this is like a big milestone or anything like that, but like our episode with Hack will be episode 4, which will be a month of working on this show, which time really flies, because it really feels like a week ago where we recorded our first episode, and we already have guests lined up, and we're working on a lot of stuff behind the scenes. But guys, again, thank you so much for hanging out with us today. Stash, thank you again for sitting down with me and talking some Elder Scrolls and making me feel like I'm not doing anything in the game right, because I can't figure out what I want to do.
Everything in the game you're doing is right. Okay. Everything is right.
But all right, guys, again, for the millionth time, thank you. It's been Noble. We will see you guys next week with Hack. Peace out.
Keep on scrolling.